Can I go ahead and do the same? I won't put the same like whole spiel about how we do interviews on tape, but just the intro.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's fine.
It just helps out our transcriptionists.
Yes, it does.
All right, this is an interview in the case of State versus Paula Huff. The case number is CR 2013-0470-001. The date is July 10th. It's approximately 11:07. We are in the Pima County Attorney's Office, the 18th floor in a conference room. Present are Ms. Huff, who is representing herself pro per. Myself, Colleen Taney, last name is spelled T as in Tom, H-O-E, and is November E. We also have Officer Dennis Makoborski.
Yes.
And we have, oh God, is it Dan or Mike? I will get it by the end of today.
You're looking at me, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Ed
Salgado.
was not even close. I'm sorry, Ed.
It's okay.
So Ed Salgado, who's an investigator with our office. So anyway, this is Ms. Huff's defense interview, so I will turn it over to her.
Okay, and I understand you're not under oath right now, correct? Okay. Do you have any opening statements regarding my case? Anything to say about it before we begin?
No.
Okay. And have you received any training in Title 36, Section 28, the medical marijuana laws?
Yes.
You have? Okay. When did you receive this training?
When it was first going through a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago?
Yeah. When it
What
was
year
looked
would that
at, I don't know if it was
What year did you start?
2011.
11?
2004 is when I started.
Okay, and so when did you receive the training, though?
The medical marijuana training, when, like I said, when it first started coming out, we were getting bits of information on how the law looked like it was going to be written, stuff like that.
Okay, how was your training given? In what form? Did you go to a class and take tests? Did you watch a movie?
I'm trying to think if we had a legal update training on it, which would have been given by our attorneys, and I believe there was some other follow-up stuff to it.
Were you tested at all on your knowledge after your training?
No.
And how long have you been participating in raids like the one that took place at my house on January 10th of this year?
You have to clarify the question there.
How long? How many years have you been showing up with your dog to drug raids? Like the one that took place at my house.
Are you asking how many years have I been assigned to the Counter Narcotics Alliance?
Mm-hmm.
Been 9 years.
9 years, okay. And this just has to do with your dog. Would you ever take your dog right out of the bath, wet from the bath, outside at night during a cold snap in January?
I don't know entirely how that's relevant.
Because I was taken right out of the bath outside during a cold snap in January. I was wondering if Dennis here would do that to his dog.
With all due respect, I'm going to ask the officer not to answer that. If it's something that you'd like to file a motion on, I'm certainly happy to do that. That's absolutely your right. But based on the nature of the case, where we are right now, I'm advising the officer not to answer that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, besides that would be animal cruelty if he wished to do that. So, yeah, I can see him taking the fifth on that one. All right. What time did you bring your police dog to the front door of my place of employment to see if it indicated for marijuana?
I don't know the exact time. It was shortly after.
Was it daytime or nighttime? Was it
when
dark
I went
out or
to
light
your
out?
business?
Yes.
It was still light out.
Okay. And is having a medical marijuana card probable cause for deploying a dog search or any search for compliance with Title 36, Section 28? Title 36, Section 28 is the Arizona medical marijuana laws. Okay. Is having, with someone having a medical marijuana card, is that probable cause for sending a dog out or any search?
If I knew somebody had a medical marijuana card, is that what you're asking?
Right.
And would I deploy the dog for a search?
Right.
Based on the knowledge of having known that? No, I would not. If somebody had a medical marijuana card and I had that knowledge, I would not deploy my dog.
Okay. And were you aware that I had a medical marijuana card?
I was not.
Okay. And as a law enforcement officer, do you enforce Title 36, Section 28? Do you enforce medical marijuana laws?
I've never enforced them myself, per se.
Bringing a dog out would be kind of...
Medical marijuana law, that's... When I deploy my dog, it's based on information that I have at a time. So the information that I had was I was responding to a knock and talk based on a possible grow operation at your residence. I deployed my dog in the same manner I deploy at any knock and talks that we were doing up until this date. And that's...
They didn't inform you that on the 911 call it was stated that I had a medical marijuana card?
I was not informed that, no.
Okay. That's what I'm wondering about, was whether you were informed of that. Are you and your canine partner normally dispatched to cardholders' homes to check for compliance with Title 36, Section 28?
No.
You're not normally?
No.
Okay. What was different about the day that you were deployed to my house?
Like I told you, I was responding to a possible grow operation based on the information that I was given.
Who gave you this information?
I don't know exactly who. I was requested to respond to that location. I don't know if it was by my sergeant through Sergeant Froby, or if Sergeant Froby called me.
Okay.
Would you mind if I just asked a clarification, just for my own
Sure,
benefit?
go for it.
You've mentioned a couple of times the idea of deploying your dog during an investigation. Could you just kind of give us a quick summary of how that usually happens, or what sorts of investigations you go to with your canine partner, anything like that?
Yeah, basically up until recently with the new Supreme Court ruling. Any information, 88 crime tips, stuff that would come in that we would receive in work. If we decided to conduct a knock and talk at the location to identify if the information we had received is valid, we would deploy the dog based on information and run all that is accessible to the public at those locations.
And when you say run to all that's accessible, so you're talking about things like public access points or areas around
Correct.
Okay.
Egress or ingress into the front door.
Okay, would you normally take your dog and do a dog search whenever someone like myself, for instance, does not consent to any search and specifies not searching my body, although I wasn't wearing anything, but not searching my body, not searching my home, no canine search? Would you still deploy a dog search anyway despite that?
Now? No.
But January 10th, it was okay to do it then?
Based off of what we were working on at that time before Supreme Court ruling on utilizing dog sniffs at residence, yes.
That Supreme Court ruling was before January 10th, which is why I asked that.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, just to clarify for the tape, I believe the case that's being discussed is State versus Jardines, Jardines. I do not have the citation with me, but that case did not come down until approximately 2 months ago. It was prior to the Supreme Court decision coming down. It was going through various trial courts and district court levels in Florida and on the East Coast, but the actual Supreme Court decision was not handed down until roughly possibly 2.5 months ago.
Right, because it was determined that a dog search is not entirely, it's not foolproof, and I know that. The cops I used to work for, they, told me all that stuff and demonstrated getting them to, like hide the little baggie of meth in a chair and, all that stuff. And I've also seen them, they can also get the dog to hit with a certain hand movement, that kind of thing. That, like the dog is looking for clues, like what does my master want me to do? That kind of thing, which is why I ask. I'm well aware of that because of my work experience. Let's see.
I'm sorry for your work experience, but that's not how I operate.
It was just, I was told this from some police officers I used to work with.
That's an untrue statement for myself and any canine handlers that I know and work with. We trust our dogs. We train them to alert to 4 odors that being marijuana, methamphetamine, heroin, and cocaine. If the dog does not alert, I'm not going to coax my dog into alert just so I can search something. I trust my dog. If my dog does not smell it, it's the end of that.
Noted, but it is possible. Have you ever lied under oath?
I have not.
Okay. And have you ever been dismissed, suspended, disqualified from a case, or had a case dismissed, including on appeals, due to your lying?
No.
Okay. Do you have any closing statements?
No.
And do you think my arrest took a criminal off the street?
My involvement with your case is what I had. Whether or not I can say you're a criminal, it's not up to me. That's up to the justice system.
That's acceptable. If you had it to do over again, would we be here right now?
Based on what I know now, on you having a medical marijuana card, I don't know. I can't answer that because I wasn't the detective. I know I probably wouldn't have deployed my dog.
Okay. I think that's about it for you. And just so you know, none of these were personal. I'm asking
I understand. Yeah.
the same set of questions of everybody
No,
for all intents and purposes, other than the dog thing, because I know I'm sure you love Jessie very much. You mentioned her by name in the police report several times, and so that was why I wanted to find out if you'd let her outside all wet and cold, in a cold snap, because I was pulled outside right after a shower all wet in a cold snap, and so that was why I wanted to know that.
Understandable.
All right, well, I don't have any follow-up questions other than the standard ones from the last one. So I guess my first question, officer, is prior to this interview, did you have a chance to review your police report?
Yes.
And when you reviewed that police report, did you see anything that you wanted to change or anything that was omitted or anything like that?
No.
What we'll do is we'll have a transcript of this interview prepared. If you'd like a copy of the audio, let me know. I can give it to you.
Okay.
But prior to trial, if you could go ahead and review that transcript, and if you see any errors or anything that needs to be corrected or clarified, anything like that, please let us know and we can go ahead and get that done.
Okay.
Okay?
Not a problem.
All right, and with that, it is approximately 11:19, and we're going to go ahead and go off tape.